Jai Hind everyone. So welcome to economics class. Dear students, the chapter which is going on is people as resource. So dear students, we have discussed many topics in this chapter, like how a population can be asset rather than liability. So investment in terms of education, health and skill. I am repeating it. Investment in terms of education, health and skill can make a population asset rather than liabilities. So dear students, this is all about people as resource. So today we will discuss other topics of the chapter. And dear students, I hope that everyone is having book. So let's start today's period. So dear students, today we will discuss economic activities by men and women. So dear students, like Vilas and Sakar, people have been engaged in various activities. We saw that Vilas sold fish and Sakal got a job in the firm. The various activities have been classified into three main sectors. Dear students, economic activities, or you can say various activities, have been classified into three main sectors. And the three sectors are primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. So dear students, first of all, primary sector. Primary sector includes agriculture, forestry, animal husbandry, fishing, poultry farming, mining, quarrying, etc. So we are talking about primary sector. Then secondary, and the one is tertiary. Tertiary sector. So dear students, sectors are divided, or you can say activities are divided into three sectors: primary sectors, secondary sectors and tertiary sector. Primary sectors includes agriculture, forestry, animal husbandry, fishing, poultry farming, mining and quarrying. And you know, this sector is also known as agricultural sector. So when we use natural resources directly, or we can say mainly, that is the work of primary sector. It is also known as agricultural sector. Then talk about secondary sector. So dear students, manufacturing is included in the secondary sector. All type of manufacturing like cloth from cotton, sugar from sugarcane, bread from wheat flour. So these things are manufactured. And where these are manufactured? So these are manufactured in industries. That's why this sector is also known as industrial sector. Clear? So primary sector, that is also known as agricultural sector. Secondary sector, that is manufacturing, it is also known as industrial sector. And now the third one is, that is tertiary sector. Dear students, trade, transport, communication, banking, education, health, tourism, services, insurance, etc. are included in the tertiary sector. I am repeating it: trade, transport, communication, banking, education, health, tourism, services, insurance, etc. are included in the tertiary sector. This sector is also known as service sector. Why? Because services are produced by this sector. So it is clear now. Primary sector, when we use natural resources directly, that is primary sector. And because agriculture is main one, so this sector is also known as agricultural sector. Clear? After that, secondary sector. So manufacturing is done in industries. So this sector is also known as industrial sector. And third one, tertiary sector. This sector produces lots of services. So this sector is also known as service sector. So the activities in this sector, results in the production of goods and services. In these three sectors, activities are done and the result is the production of goods and services. These activities add value to the national income. When goods and services are produced, then it adds value to the national income. And you know, these activities are called economic activities. I am repeating it, that activities which add value to the national income are called economic activities. Right? So even economic activities have two parts. Now we are talking about that economic activities have two parts. One is market activities and another one is non-market activities. So what are market activities? So dear students, market activities involves remuneration to anyone who performs, that is activity performed for pay or profit. There are many activities which are performed for pay, for profit, for remuneration. That is market activities. For example, or we can say these include production of goods and services, including government services. So when goods and services are produced, that is the activity of market activities. So when people work for remuneration, people work for salary, people work for payment, for profit, then the work comes under market activities. Clear? Market activities. Now, non-market activities. So, non-market activities are the production of self-consumption. If people are producing for their own consumption, that is the activity of non-market activities. These can be consumption and processing of primary product and on account production of fixed assets. Okay, I'm repeating again. These can be consumption and processing of primary product and on account production of fixed assets. So I am giving you one example that suppose a teacher, if he is teaching other students and getting remuneration, getting salary, then that is the activity of market activities. But if the same teacher is teaching his or her own son or daughter, that is the activity of non-market activities. Because no salary is given, no payment is given. So this was market activities and non-market activities. Now, dear students, due to historical and cultural reasons, there is a division of labor between men and women in the family. You can see in your own family also that the labor is divided. What are the activities of your mother, your sister, your daughter? What are the activities of the male persons of the family? So labor is divided. Women generally look after domestic chores and men work in the fields. Means it is the duty of women to take care of house, to take care of domestic chores, and it is the duty of men to work outside and to earn for the family. Sakal's mother Sheila cooks food, cleans utensils, washes clothes, cleans the house, and looks after her children. While Sakal's father Bhuta cultivates the field, sells the produce in the market, and earns money for the family. So you can see easily, dear students, that due to historical and cultural reasons, labor is divided between men and women. It is the thinking that women are fit for domestic works, while men are fit for work of outside or work for earning. Women generally look after domestic chores and men work in the fields. And I have given you example. Even you can see in your own family also. Like your father is working outside and your mother is working at home. She takes care of domestic chores. Even one example is Sheila is not paid for the services delivered for upbringing of the family. She is not paid. Bhuta earns money which he spends on the rearing his family. What is the earning of Bhuta? He spends on the rearing his family. So women are not paid for their services delivered in the family. For example, suppose if your mother is cooking food, has she get any remuneration? Has she get any payment? No. So women are not paid for their service delivered in the family. The household work done by women is not recognized in the national income. So when we talk about national income, the work done by the household work done by women is not recognized because there is no remuneration for that. There is no payment for that. So even one example is Geeta, mother of Vilas. She earned an income by selling fish. Thus, women are paid for their work when they enter the labor market. When women are working at their own home, they are not paid. But when they enter in the labor market, they are also paid. If they are working as a laborer, I am talking about outside the house. If they are working, they are made, even they are doctors, scientists, and many more. So when they work outside, they got remuneration. If mother is cooking food at home, she is not paid. But the same one means cooking food is done at any other house, there she get the remuneration. So women are paid for their work when they enter the labor market. Their earning like that of their male counterpart is determined on the basis of education and skill. What she will get outside, that is totally depends upon her education and skill. How much she is educated, how much she is skilled. According to that, she will be paid. You know, dear students, that education helps individual to make better use of economic opportunities available before him. Suppose someone is educated, then definitely he will be having more economic opportunities than someone who is not educated. So we can say that education helps individual to make better use of the economic opportunities available before him. Education and skill are the major determinants of the earning of any individual in the market. I am trying to say that if you are educated and if you are skilled, then definitely in the market your earning will be better than those people who are not educated and not skilled. So easily we can say that education and skill are the major determinants of the earning of any individual in the market. That's why education is so necessary. Giving training of skill is so necessary. Again, let's talk about women. So dear students, a majority of women have meager education and low skill formation. You can see that the literacy rate of women or females is much lower than the literacy rate of males in India. And even they are not so skilled also. So a majority of women have meager education and low skill formation. You know, women are paid low compared to men for the same work even. Suppose if you are hiring construction laborer, suppose you have hired two construction laborers, one is male and one is female. So definitely you will pay more to male person than female. Why? Because it is the thinking of society that males are physically strong and they work more than the females. While it is not correct, dear students, then most women work where job security is not there. Most of the women, they work where there is no job security. Anytime they can be called off. Even various activities relating to legal protection is meager. Dear students, women are needed legal protection, but that is also meager. Employment in this sector is characterized by irregular and low income. Where most of the women are working, their job is irregular, means daily they are not getting the job, and even if they are having job or if they are getting job, that is also low income. They get low income. Even in this sector, there is an absence of basic facilities. Basic facilities like maternity leave, child care, and other social security system. Dear students, where most of the women of India are working, they don't have basic facilities. They don't have maternity leave. They don't have child care leave. Even they don't have social security system. But at the same time, if they work in government offices, they work under government, then there is provision of maternity leave. There are many government teachers, they get maternity leave. But in this sector, most of the women are not getting basic facilities. If they are not educated, if they are not skilled. But, however, women with high education and skill formation, if women are highly educated, they are skilled, they are paid at par with the men. Means, if they are highly educated, if they are skilled, their salary is equal to male people. Among the organized sector, you know which profession attract most to the women? So among the organized sector, teaching and medicine, it attract them the most. That's why, dear students, you can see in your own school, there are many female teachers. So this sector attracts a lot to females, even medicine sector also. There are many medical representatives, there are many females who are working in medicinal industries, they are working as doctors, nurses. You know, some women have entered administrative and other services, including job that need high levels of scientific and technological competence. Why I am saying, if they are highly educated and skilled, they got job in high levels of scientific and technological jobs also. And dear students, you can do one thing. You can ask your sister or ask your classmate what she would like to take up as a career in future. You can talk to them. You can ask that which career they will opt in future. So dear students, we discussed many topics, and today we mainly discussed about economic activities by men and women. We discussed that sectors are classified into three: primary, secondary and tertiary. Primary sector, it includes agriculture, forestry, animal husbandry, fishing, poultry farming, mining and quarrying. This sector is also known as agricultural sector. Then secondary sector, Manufacturing is included in this sector. Industries are included in this sector, like cloth from cotton, sugar from sugarcane, and bread from wheat flour. So manufacturing is done, and especially in factories or industries, this sector is also known as industrial sector. Then the tertiary sector, trade, transport, communication, banking, education, health, tourism, services, insurance, etc. are included in the tertiary sector. This sector is also known as service sector because services are produced. So dear students, economic activities are those where goods and services are produced, or we can say economic activities are those which add value to the national income. Economic activities are of two types: market activities and non-market activities. Then we discussed about the condition of women in society. While they work, what is the condition of women? So dear students, that's all for today's class. Please read the topics which I have explained today, and please read the topics which are left. So in next period, we will discuss the same. Till then, thank you. Have a nice day.